tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG doggy.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morris, or Morris, aka Russ, and with me this week is
PJ Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers, also from Homebrew and Hacking TTRPG Design. Joining us also, we have fresh from the coalfields, the salt face, the mines of working deep within the bowels of EM Publishing. It's the one. It's the only. It is.
It's me, Jessica from EM Publishing, and I thought that coal mining reference was a Welsh heritage reference, but no, it's just the coal face of EM Publishing.
it has many layers,
It has, yeah, much like a mine.
as do the bowels of EN Publishing. I don't want to think about EN Publishing's bowels, quite frankly.
Well, that's why you pay me to do that, Russ. So you don't have to.
I mean, your height's an advantage in this case. I mean, get it on the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sheets of paper in the bowels of EM Publishing.
You can also get lots of salt from mines as well. There you go.
That is true, yeah. It can be salty at times as well, but yeah.
Right. Let's talk about
Russ's
news.
salty bowels. Let's move on.
Let's talk about some news.
Okay.
I want to talk about video games because we all know that I am the world's greatest video game fan, and I play many video games, and I know all of the video games. I know everything about video games. I'm an expert at all of them.
Yeah,
As we all know.
absolutely. I'm guessing these are
never
video
watched
games that have a tie-in to Dungeons and/or Dragons, much like Baldur's Gate 3, the game that I don't talk very much about.
Have you ever mentioned it, Jess?
You are famously reticent on the subject.
Yeah.
Correct.
I always assumed you just didn't like the game. I mean, I try so often to
I
draw
can't
you into a conversation
can't
about
even
Baldur's Gate
expect-
3, and it's impossible.
I can't even extend the joke to agree with you on that because it's just feels so wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyone listening to this show for the first time has no idea what we're talking about. We're very sorry. In-jokes are a bad thing.
Oh, welcome.
Anyway.
I'm Jess and I really like Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's the news with video games?
Okay, so we mentioned two video games last week, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
There was one as yet unnamed one coming from, were they called? Skull.
Big
Giant
Skull?
Skull. Giant Skull.
Like
And yes, and then there was the Demio one as well, which was the sort of top-down moving miniatures about video games.
more XCOM style.
Yeah. So Wizards of the Coast has been talking a little bit about video games.
Mm-hmm.
And they have talked about, they did an interview with Polygon,
Mhm.
and they said that they want to make CRPGs, and I quote, that are going to be as serious as BG3.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
don't know what serious necessarily means in that sense. Does that mean sort of,
Profitable.
oh, yes. Yeah.
They wish.
I
But-
think that means like high level, like quality made, like it's a serious
Yeah.
big game. Because they also go on to talk about raising the bar with game projects. So I think serious games means like it's a quality,
Right.
high invested,
Yeah, I think it's sort of like a video game that takes itself seriously, as opposed to sort of like having a bit of a nod and a wink, maybe.
I mean, maybe. I mean, Baldur's Gate very much has a nod and a wink. At one point, you can turn into a wheel of cheese for being too sassy. Like, this game has silly moments in it. But then it has really serious themes in it as well. Like, there's one character who has, like, plot themes that are, like, about abusive kind of relationships, and has a lot of narratives about that. And there's somebody that knows they're going to die before the end of it. So they're dealing with... So that it has really strong themes in, so as well. So I guess in that aspect, it can be very serious as
That's
well.
how I felt when I played Baldur's Gate 3, that I die before the end of it.
We did.
Right.
And we have still to return.
Yeah.
But anyway, but less about that. Let's talk about... So what's Wizards of the Coast saying about future projects like this?
Yeah, well, so they haven't named any. other than those two that we know about. So the one from Giant Skull, which is as yet unnamed, but is some kind of action adventure game, single player action adventure game apparently, and the other one, which is a multiplayer tactical skirmishy kind of dungeon crawly thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the right terminology?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You got the vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this one from Giant Skull isn't going to be like turn-based. It's going to be different mechanics. It's going to be more like first-person sort of style.
Yeah.
Like God of War and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Wizard of the Coast did say they want to make sure any future D&D game has to be an accurate representation of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously they don't necessarily mean in terms of rules, because that Demio one does not use... Is it Demio or Demio? Demio.
Yeah.
Demio.
They're using cards and stuff, which is not rules.
Yeah.
So I guess they mean like the intellectual property. So
the law
questions then spring to mind, because there's a lot of IP associated with these things. A lot of law, as you say, Jessica.
There is. I mean,
I guess that might slow down game production, because they're going to have to get everything checked. Because if Wizards are like, we really need to make sure things are correct, every time they do something, they're going to have to send it to review for the license, and someone's going to have to go through it with a fine tooth comb.
That's standard licensing procedure, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, I guess.
With Baldur's Gate 3, they had a team dedicated to it, didn't they? That was working with Larian on that game to make sure it all was. When they say for this one, or these upcoming ones, whatever they are, it's really important that any manifestation of D&D creatures in a game be as good as what's in our own minds.
That's a hard sell, though. That's like saying, I want the movie to be as good as the book.
Yeah.
Which is a really unfair...
Yeah. Well, I'm a blasphemer, because I think the Lord of the Rings movies are better than the books. A lot of people don't like it when I say that.
I'm sure it can be, but like the issue with, and I think tabletop games are the same thing. When I sit down with my friends to play a tabletop game, we entirely customize it to what we want it to be. And it's, it's a large part's in our mind. So it's everything we want. So putting that expectation on a game is unfair, because a game is going to be played by, well, hopefully millions of people, and millions of people aren't going to have the same idea of what good is, or what, the same vision of a concept. So, but yeah.
Well, that's not the only video game news. We've got some news about Solasta II.
I still haven't played the demo of that, even though it is available.
I haven't either.
That's really good. I enjoyed it.
It's not massive news. They've just confirmed that they are definitely switching to the 2024 D&D rule set, which I guess was something that everyone expected anyway. But they've just officially said that is what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a big, huge amount of changes. It's fundamentally a very similar game, even if it is quite a new addition in many respects.
Yes, if only there was some kind of conversion document.
Yes.
But wait, there is. But we'll get onto that in a second.
One thing I found interesting about the Solasta update, when they made the announcement, they have a section on it saying 2014, 2024, what are you talking about? So acknowledge that people like us and you, dear listener, listening to this podcast, perhaps aren't as nerdy and realize that the rules have changed and what that means. So there's an interesting paragraph where they were explaining what the difference is between the two and what that is, which is interesting because it's not clear, because they haven't called it a different
especially
edition.
People who only play the video game, someone who just picked up Solasta because it looked like a cool game and played it.
Yeah,
but has never played
they do exist.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There are people who are like, help, I do not understand this game at all.
There are certainly people that play Baldur's Gate that have never played the tabletop game. So it would not surprise me if the same, on a smaller scale, wasn't true for Solasta.
Comparing like with like, the difference in budgets is not insignificant, like a couple of orders of magnitude.
Yeah.
I don't want a criticism, just an observation.
But Wizards of the Coast were very adamant it wasn't a new version, but the team behind Solasta have said Wizards of the Coast released a new version of D&D, so they have said it is, which I found funny.
No, they didn't use the word edition, though. See, that's the word you're not allowed to say.
Oh, okay. But it says
edition.
Version is the thing.
Version, not edition.
All right, fair enough.
depends what language you're used to speaking. If you're speaking computer games, then they are saying it's a new version, which is, as far as we understand, a new edition. Yeah.
Yeah, V1.2. Yeah, very normal.
If someone said there was a new version of my car,
Right.
I would assume that it's not the same. It's not the same car, is it? It's a whatever. We've had this conversation so many times.
Sorry.
There'll
be some differences.
Is it an addition conversation? Yeah.
Although we'd expect it to be fundamentally the same car if it's the same model. Yes, model.
Just maybe it has a different colours, or this one comes with cup holders.
A different colour.
Oh,
yeah.
Not like BMW 1 Series where you have to pay extra for them.
Exactly. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to admit my commentary on this is going to be limited because I don't know anything about cars. So I was like, they come in different colours, they have cup holders, and then I'm out.
You know, I almost regret mentioning cars now. Let's move on.
Okay.
There's one more bit of video game news.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on from Solasta. What else?
And this is about Neverwinter Nights 2.
Again, something I haven't played, but so many people I know have played it and really enjoyed it. So I think it's something I need to take a look at.
Well,
I mean, it's quite good. It's just
Neverwinter Nights 1 is better.
I
much prefer Neverwinter Nights 1.
Okay.
Really?
Have
you played either of them?
Yes. I actually got quite addicted to Neverwinter Nights 1 properly. Like you and Baldur's Gate 3, it was me and Neverwinter Nights 1.
I can't believe
I didn't play through the single player story though. That bored the hell out of me.
Okay.
I did all the world building and stuff with the tool set and then shared it online and people came in and played my adventures where I DM'd because you could DM them live and drop features in and control creatures and stuff.
So you used it like a VTT, really, in a way.
Kind of,
the game was a VTT sort of thing.
Kind of.
But there's very much you had to stick more closely to the pre-written scenario.
The Neverwinter Nights tool, the first tool set, Neverwinter Nights 1 tool set was really good, and the second one was just so fiddly that I never got into it.
Okay. Well,
but anyway, the news.
But what is the news?
I mean, there is Neverwinter Nights 2's existence isn't news. It's a very old game.
No, yeah, let's say.
It's coming to an enhanced edition. It's coming out on July the 15th.
Okay.
On both PC and consoles. Yeah. Comes with lots of DLC packs, as well as console controls, Steam Workshop, whatever that is, visual enhancements, full crossplay for up to 4 players, all sorts of stuff. So July the 15th, that is.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
So I'm quite interested in that. I don't know whether all the sort of, because we used to have persistent worlds. You could rent a server for something like $5 a month. You could create your environment, your world, and you could upload it to that server, and it would just run 24/7. So people could drop in and out of the server, and it would be persistent. And anything happened in it, it remembered.
Yeah, a bit like a MMORPG. I can't just manage to mess up a MMORPG. But before they were more popular, so there you go.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, it was a MMORPG, wasn't it? A self-hosted MMORPG. Yeah, I guess.
Well, there's more multiplayer online, rather than massively so. I guess
yes,
the joy of Warcraft and all that.
Yeah. Well, the number of people you could have playing in your world at any one time depended on the power of your server, basically. So people tended to have sort of up to 16. But if you forked out enough money and you got something really beefy, you could have up to 64 or whatever.
Wow. I don't have that many friends, though.
Fair enough.
Okay.
No, me neither. Apparently, someone did a study, and wasn't it like people can only have up to 150 friends or something? The brain can only cope with that. I was like, who knows 150 friends?
I think it's not friends. It's people that you have in your community that you can keep up to date with what they're doing and things like that. I think in terms of close friends, it was only 12 or something like that.
Oh, God.
The monkey sphere is the term sometimes used.
Oh, is
which
that
is the number of other monkeys or apes, I suppose, to be technically correct, that we can keep track of?
Well, the number of people that I can keep track of in my head is less than 1, and I'm including myself. So this 150 is just a kind of pie in the sky thing for me.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the video game news. So
That
it's
is the
interesting.
video game news.
It's interesting that Wizards is investing in video games a lot and the digital side of things. So I think they had a lot of people that came from digital backgrounds that are at Hasbro. So I'm wondering if that's just part of the original plan and just getting that in the cycle. So we're going to see the fruits of that labor from a few years ago, because they did talk about that when those people joined.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's licensing, isn't it, and part of it's done in house.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you which was which. I mean, that Demio one's obviously licensed, and the Giant Skull one is obviously licensed. Neverwinter Nights 2 is licensed. Solasta 2 is licensed via the Open Gaming license.
I think they have a slightly different way of doing it, but I think the Open Gaming license was pretty key.
That's what they used for the first one. Are they using it for the second one, or have they switched to Creative Commons? Or
I haven't seen. I know it's quite exciting. I think it's quite tricky because computer games and books are regarded as a bit tricky and separate. So I don't know whether they got the same sort of deal or what's going on, to be honest. I imagine it's okay with Hasbro. They've got some sort of something in writing, otherwise they wouldn't be risking the money on it from Tactical Adventures. But I don't know. Like I say, no, I very much enjoyed the first Solasta. This second one is very pretty, so looking forward to it.
I might try and give this one.
And the modding community, is extremely prolific. There's just a lot of different mods, and there's a lot of different adventures that are available.
Yeah. And again, if I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3, I'm probably not going to play Solasta, am I? Let's be real.
No.
You played Baldur's Gate 3, and we're going to play it again because you said you would on this very podcast. We just need to organise the time.
Is that legally binding now?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. Right. Is it a new edition? Is D&D 5.5? Is 2024 a new edition?
I thought we weren't opening up that kind of worm discussion.
But Wizards of the Coast have put this document out.
A conversion document.
A conversion document.
Ooh.
Official from Wizards of the Coast, converting to System Reference Document 5.2.1. It's mainly for developers, for publishers and people who
Likes of
create
us.
things on DM's Guild and stuff like that, on how to basically update your stuff. If you wanted to go back to your old stuff and update it to the 2024 rules, there's this conversion document, and it's like 15 pages long. It's not a short document, and what we're going to tell you, it's just like a big old list of changes.
It is useful though, because it does really nicely summarize a lot of the changes, and you can just Command F if you're like, I want to make sure all my feats are correct. There's a section on that. So as a developer tool,
they don't tell you what are. They just tell you about the changes. So it's 15 pages, but only in the sense that it will say the following class features are revised, and then it will list those class features, and the following options are new, and it will list, or the following spells are revised, and it will list the spell. So it's not a document which contains the new content in any way.
No, you'd use that with the new SRD. So this is just a summary of like the list of the things. So you'd know you need to check those things and go cross-reference. But
So it's 15 pages.
Pretty interesting. I've already learned something pretty key about it.
What's that?
Well, they've got the rest has kindly thrown up the converting to system reference document 5.21, and under playing a game, it's got D20 tests and heroic inspiration.
Yeah.
So, as people familiar with D&D will know, there are only 3 tests you make, 3 D20 rolls you make in D&D, and A5e, which are ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws, and they're all working exactly the same way. Here, you would use the term D20 test if whatever feature or trait you were using applied to all 3 of them rather than just a single one. which I quite like because it saves you.
We talked about that all throughout the playtest documents, though, because all the playtest documents said that. So.
Yeah, but it's nice to see it spelled out that it's a D20 test, and that's when precisely you use it. Also, heroic inspiration being a reroll rather than granting you advantage, that is something that I hadn't seen before.
I think that's a common house rule, that one.
Well, Baldur's Gate 3 has made it de facto house rule.
Yeah.
Like, because people are just going to play it that way. And people were playing it that way. I'm like, fine. If Wizards of the Coast can't be bothered defending it, then neither can I.
Yeah. I mean, opening a can of worms in the chat, Sean J has said anything that needs a conversion guide is a new edition. So,
I mean,
there you go. We didn't say it.
I have said all along that it's a new edition.
Somebody else said, do they produce a conversion document between 3.5e and 5e? Do they do that? I don't know.
No, that'd be too much of a conversion.
Well, no,
it's so different.
Fourth edition in the way, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they did. I can't remember. Maybe they did. I shouldn't try and answer that question without knowing the answer. I don't know.
The answer to your question, Rye versus Wild, is we don't know. Yeah. Stay informed of the latest TTRP news.
It's not the latest TTRPG news, is it?
Yeah, I mean, 4th edition was what, 2008? So, yeah. Well, 11 now for 5th edition. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but there we go.
Whatever.
That's a useful tool. I like a list of a to-do list, and that's what that is.
You like a list?
I enjoy
a list.
I do. See, I use it for work as well. This is my to-do list of all the things I do this week. Yes. Right. It's a quest board, and I write down what I'm going to do each day, and I cross it off as I do it for fun.
Right. Do you get Godfrey to wear a long cloak and sit in a shadowy corner of your house with a exclamation mark above his head?
I don't, no, but that's something I could do, and I could get Django to do that as well. So
that's all the members you could do, though, isn't it? You could go around with an exclamation mark above your head. Probably people do, don't they?
They do.
I think people have at events. That actually could be. I'm looking for a day 3 costume. I'm going to the Fantasy Forest. It's like a Renaissance fair in the UK, and I've got 2 days of costumes, but I'm not sure what my costume is going to be for day 3. So I could just be a quest giver.
Yeah,
NPC quest giver.
Yeah. Just in generic medieval clothes, and I could have bits of paper I can hand out to people to get them to do things. I might do that.
You've got to have just 8 lines that you can say, which people can access, and sometimes you just repeat the same lines.
That could be good for the last day when I'm very tired and have very little social bandwidth left. All right,
scavenger hunt for people. There you go.
That's what I'm gonna do. All right, done. All right. Anyway, back to the news.
All right. More stuff on D&D Beyond. We've got the Gunslinger class from a Mage Hand Press.
Oh, I like this. We had a Gunslinger class, Keep Your Powder Dry, for 5e, which we have. So that's a similar vibe, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I think there's been a few, actually. But this one comes from Valda's Spire of Secrets.
Okay.
But it's just the Gunslinger class out of this. So Mage Hand Press produced the book, Valda's Spire of Secrets, which is quite light-hearted. It's quite a light-hearted take.
Oh, okay.
It's got things like the Paladin's Oath of Revelry and its tenets, including adhering to the code Codicus Brodicus. So that kind of tells you the sort of tone that book has.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So the Gunslinger class is one of several classes in that book. So the whole book isn't on D&D Beyond. Just the Gunslinger class. What is interesting though is that you get the Gunslinger class and it's 6 subclasses basically, and I think you get a handful of spells and feats as well. No. But it's quite a small package. But it costs $15
on D&D Beyond.
On D&D Beyond.
Okay.
Whereas the full PDF from Major Hand Press costs under $30, and then it's got 10 classes in it, so it's 10 times the size.
Right. For maybe $5 extra.
Yeah. So there is some people online complaining a bit about the price. That if 10 classes cost $30, why am I paying $15 for one class? I I kind of get it, but you're not just paying for the content, you're also paying for the service of somebody having to turn that into a D&D Beyond thing, which isn't free.
And,
so there is that.
It's their service. They can like charge as much or as little as they want. So then your choices. But do we know anything about it? I assume it's using, like, I don't know, 2d8 revolvers and so forth.
It's about critical hits. You have something called a risk dice, which powers some maneuvers. That's pretty much all I really know about it, to be honest. I don't know.
Because you haven't bought it on D&D Beyond.
I haven't bought it. No, I haven't bought it. I have not bought it.
Yeah.
But it seems to be sort of a crit heavy kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes sense, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, even with the complete anachronism and the anachronistic nature of D&D, like with Renaissance sort of rapiers and so forth, revolvers are like what, 1851, 1871?
That's not the real world, though. It's D&D.
I know it's just
what?
It's just like,
it's not a historical documentary.
Why would you say that, Russ?
It has dragons and wizards in it.
So does Wales.
Fair.
Yes, sure.
Just talk about the country, not the animal, Russ. I can see.
Yeah, no,
that was my disconnect just for a second there. I was thinking Wales, and then I started.
That would be so do Wales.
I don't know. And I was trying to connect.
A whale dragon. A whale dragon. That is a monster that I'm pretty sure hasn't been tapped. We've had dragon turtles. We've not had a whale dragon or a dragon whale.
Well, there we go. Next in Monstrous Menageries 3, coming 2027.
I feel I'm just identifying gaps in the market as they arise. It's up to professional publishers. Oh, good.
Well, there are a lot of third-party creators for A5e that could easily make that thing as well. You too could make a whale dragon. Anyway, we've got something new to talk about. Should we talk about something actually happening?
Yeah, let's talk about Starfinder player core.
Yes.
So,
I love this artwork that you're showing on the screen.
Yeah. Well, this is
it's like a six. It's gremlin with 6 arms. That's bright yellow.
You said that was a cat. Was that a gremlin? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Russ's cat identification skills, listeners, are not what I would call good. I mean, I can see the resemblance. There is pointy ears and furry, but the rows of pointy teeth they're definitely more in the gremlin style of things. A touch of Stitch.
6 arms and bipedal.
I mean, classic cat behavior, absolutely. Bright yellow fur, and then the hair, which is long and going through rainbow-coloured locks. I'm getting a strong sense of diva here, possibly due to the
Bright.
Yes, Rainbow Bright. We've got like a satin coat, a blue rah-rah skirt with a touch of like hexagons on, because nothing screams cyberpunk, together with a rather charming ribbon sash, a rainbow-coloured necklace, and like a little star. I'm going to say crop top. I have no evidence to believe it's crop top, but that's what my spidey senses tell me.
Yes.
Blonde Mogwai.
Blonde Mogwai, as Wavers of the World in the chat says. Yeah. So anyway, the reason that I threw this picture up is because Starfinder Player Core is basically the player's handbook of Starfinder, the new player's handbook of Starfinder. And it brings it all up to 2nd edition rules for Starfinder. So in this book, we've got 10 new species, and we've got 6 new classes, plus a whole load of skills, feats, equipment, spells, all that stuff. So this is the core stuff. It's not like an add-on. It's like, this is what the player will start with.
What are we looking at here? This idol of a creation.
I don't know what one that is, but this is really one of the ancestries. So the ancestries, we've got an android, which is obvious what that is. A Barathu, which is a floating blimp-like entity that can merge with other creatures.
Probably not that.
A human. Don't know what that is.
I guess that sounds more like a character name or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. A Kasatha. They have 4 arms, always cover their nose and mouth in public, and sometimes carry puzzle blades, a weapon that is ritualistically assembled every day.
Okay.
Which is interesting. We've got La Shunta, psychic humanoids. We've got Patra, which are cat people. We've got Skittermanders. Oh, here we go. Skittermanders.
That is what that image was, is a Skittermander.
Yes. Energetic, 6-armed people with colourful fur.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
That is a Skittermander.
Yes.
That's what we've been looking
I would
at.
expect something a bit more reptilian, but all right, fair enough.
No, that's a Skittermander. We also have the Vesk, which are basically big lizard people. We have the Yosoki, Ysoki, Soki, Yoki, Yosoki, Isoki, rat people. We have the Borai, which are undead souls attached to living bodies. And then we have the Prismeni, which are called drift angels, native to hyperspace.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's all them.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this about this book, and I'm gonna have to share a window on the computer to do this. It is
Oh, that's the next news item.
Huh?
There we go.
So it is one of the Skittermanders, and it's on the screen. It's a blue one of those, and it has a little captain hat and a jacket. And he is called Captain Concierge, and he is the friendly virtual intelligence guide to the player core that talks you through how it works. And I said this before we started stream, but not to be dramatic, but I would die for Captain Concierge. Look how adorable he is. He's just so happy to help. He is cheerful. I love him a lot, and I just wanted to share that on the stream with everybody.
I accept that you love him a lot.
Just look at him.
I do not. I mean, fine. He's a blue.
He's quite
like thing with 6 arms and a hat.
Yeah,
it's his expression. The artist did a wonderful job of bringing that character to life.
It's basically if a baby had more arms and was furrier, then it's got that same like truncated body, huge head, big gurgly happy mouth. There you go. So
and I, as Grant has said, they love a recurring character in a player guide. I too love that. We did that in the Planestrider's Journal. We had a captain,
Cobalt.
Captain Cobalt was like talking you through the book, and which we'll talk about later in Pets and Sidekicks, we also have a similar sort of thing going on.
Okay, would you like to hear about the classes in Starfinder player core?
Yes.
If you say them in the voice of Captain Concierge.
Or Captain Cobalt.
I don't know what Captain Concierge sounds like.
Well,
how can I do that? How can I? Well, coincidentally, apparently he sounds exactly like me.
Oh, I love him less.
Okay. Right off him, to be fair.
Okay, so the classes we have got. Would you be really disappointed if you met Captain Concierge and he sounded like me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty gutted, to be honest.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Well, I mean, I'd expect him to talk a lot more like a sailor, like "Yar, mateys."
That is exactly how sailors talk.
In my mind, he sounds a bit like Stitch, and I don't know if it's just the blue fluffy thing. But that's how I want him to sound.
Classes. So the classes.
The class.
Got the envoy.
Let's focus. Oh, we're professionals here.
We've got the envoy, which is the face man.
Yes.
We've got the mystic, which is the healer and spellcaster.
Okay.
We've got the operative, which is the Scout and Infiltrator.
Like a sniper.
Yeah.
Legally
We've got the
disintegrated.
Solarian, which uses powers of gravity and light and solar weapons.
Close
Nice.
quarters fighter, and it's very dex mobility based.
Bit Jedi-y, maybe.
Yeah.
I think. We've got the Soldier, who shoots things.
Well, yeah, I know what that one is. Yeah.
Yeah. We have
Okay.
the Witch Warper.
Ooh.
So they
Which is Doctor
warp
Strange.
witches.
Doctor
Or
Strange
Wanda.
manifests the infinite possibilities of the multiverse in your current reality.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so that's the classes.
Oh,
And
okay.
we did mention recently there were 2 classes in playtest, the tech playtest. We mentioned that
Oh,
like
yeah.
2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or something with the mechanic and the technomancer classes.
Yes.
So
I
they're
think
coming
those
soon.
are still up, so people can still. Oh no, it's just finished. It finished on May the 30th, so
Yeah,
they're
you
going
missed
to
it.
be giving
Yeah.
feedback about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, that is the Starfinder player core for those interested in such things.
Cool. I mean, I am interested in that. I like that it is compatible with Pathfinder, so you can completely genre mash, and it means that if you're used to playing Pathfinder, trying a new genre, moving to Starfinder isn't, a big leap. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly quite a fantasy style of sci-fi.
Yeah. Starfinder's always been kind of like Magitech and the two things colliding there, haven't they? Yeah, magic definitely exists in the Starfinder world.
Yeah, makes me slightly less excited for it.
Well, I think it's good because that left us room to have our Void Runner, which was sci-fi in a more traditional sci-fi. I mean, not
no
hard
magic.
sci-fi, obviously, space opera, but So
I'm quite looking forward to getting my Void Runners Codex.
Soon.
Very, very soon. Very soon.
Yeah, we finished. Manufacturing is going to finish in the next few weeks, so we're booking boats for July. So they will start their perilous journeys across the sea. So you'll likely have them in your greasy paws August or September time.
Each Void Runner's Codex gets its own little boat, the little sail.
They're so heavy.
Then we push it out, and it sails across the Atlantic to America. And
I'm having serious discussions about how we protect the box in transit because they are so heavy. It's the kind of thing that easily gets damaged.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lots of bubble wrap, I guess.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that after the stream, Russ, about our options.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to send something from China to America, you should probably use the Pacific rather than the Atlantic. But don't let me tell you how to do business.
No, yeah. I forgot that it was coming from China. I was just assuming we were sending it from here.
Oh, yeah, true.
Which we're not doing. We are, in fact, sending it from China. You're correct.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let us now talk a little bit about Call of Cthulhu and 1980s Japan.
Tell me.
Yeah, so 1980s Japan was basically the Yakuza were big and everything was neon, and 1980s Japan's like was really big. Yeah, possibly that's a cartoon, I believe. Is it? I
think know. Call of Cthulhu is the biggest TTRPG in Japan as well. That's not Dungeons and Dragons there. People would say Dungeons and Dragons is like a fantasy version of Call of Cthulhu. That's how they would refer to it.
Yeah, cool. So in Japan, the sort of legend of the King in Yellow, which is one of Lovecraft's inspirations for his mythos. In Japan, the King in Yellow is called the Prince of Pale Leaves.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what they say in Japanese, obviously. But the Prince of Pale Leaves, yes. So the King in the King in Yellow was originally a bunch of short stories by Robert W. Chambers, who inspired a lot of Lovecraft stuff.
Yeah.
So
part of a contributor to the mythos, because Lovecraft was doing one of the first multi-writer shared universes, which has had lots of inspiration. And just for those listening at home, Russ has put up quite a striking cover, which I'm really enjoying looking at. It says Call of Cthulhu, the Sutra of Pale Leaves, Twin Suns Rising. We have what looks like a double eclipse in the top left-hand corner. There's a road figure with no face walking
I
around
assume that's a
through.
mask. Yeah, it looks like a mask to me.
Well, it's Cthulhu, so it could be a mask, could be a person without a face.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it might be a
assume
mask. Yeah. If it was a mask, it would be in the Beijing opera style because it's got like the eye holes.
And nothing else.
But there's no. And it's just like otherwise a plain, like an android, perhaps a plain surface. And it looks like maybe there's something going on in the background. Can't quite see, but there's definitely the downtown aspect of, say, Tokyo, with multi-story buildings with large neon lit billboards rising at the back.
Basically,
it's a striking cover. And what is that sort of like the yellow square with the multiple blobs in? Is that
maybe
I'm not really familiar.
I think maybe that's a calling card for the king in yellow, because he's called the king. What's he called? The king of
Pale Leaves.
Yeah, so maybe that is the symbol for the Prince of Pale Leaves, because it's like kind of always swirly leaves on a yellow background. So maybe that's
maybe.
Well, so this supplement takes you to Japan in the 1980s. It's for Call of Cthulhu. Yakuza gangs are thriving. The traditional world is at war with the modern world. So ancient creeds, gods and spirits are all trying to keep their toehold in the world. And they're kind of fighting against capitalism and technology and stuff like that.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. And the King in Yellow, or the Prince of Pale Leaves, is here to help.
Oh, okay.
So this... What?
No, carry on. I've just made a noise. Carry on.
Those who cry out to him lose their minds and souls, but it will be far worse for the rest of us, apparently.
And that's
so
helpful.
A comprehensive guide to the Sutra of Pale Leaves itself, the cults associated with the Yellow King, and a bunch of new mythos monsters for use in any Call of Cthulhu game, plus 3 linked adventures, which you can play through, which take you across a variety of places across 1980s Japan. I think that actually I actually want to play that. That looks quite cool.
Yeah, I think you'd do a good job running that as well.
That does seem cool. I like the look of that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm pretty interested. I mean, although 80s Japan is about 40 years ago, eh?
Well, yeah, but Renaissance Europe was a lot longer than 40 years ago when we played D&D. So,
I do like playing horror and freaky things like that in the 80s before mobile phones, because it makes horror it makes it so much easier to cut people off instantly.
Yes, you don't have to come up with a random reason why your mobile phone doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's easier to cut people off, and so that they have to physically go to a location to get information. So it makes investigation games like Cthulhu a bit more interesting.
It's like the preponderance of sightings of Bigfoot and UFOs just really dropped off as soon as like everyone was carrying a camera in their pocket.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's amazing why after all these photos of Bigfoots and UFOs, there still isn't one that isn't blurry. A single one.
I think that's just how Bigfoot looks. He's just a blurry.
He's just blurry.
Figure. It's not the camera. He's just he himself is blurry.
Well, I will say, by the way, that if you've ever seen like a hungry bear, one that's just fresh from hibernation, it looks very much like a guy in a furry suit. Like, you know, not the chonky bears that like, you know, look so cuddly and yet would be so deadly. But like when they're like pretty skinny and hungry, like if you see them from behind, you're like, well, wow, what's that guy doing over there? I saw somebody put some pictures up. I was like, oh yes, I can totally see how you would think that was a person there, like a big hairy person, but a person nonetheless. But it's not. It's a bear.
Yeah, you don't want to argue with the bear.
No,
not recommended. The bear will win.
Yes.
You know what else would win in a fight? Our next news item.
Tell us more.
Yeah.
Show the image for us.
There we go.
We've talked about this before.
We have talked about Mr. Potato Head Beholder before, but this is a different Mr. Potato Head Beholder. I'm going to make it clear this is not the same Mr. Potato Head Beholder.
Dear listener, if you are tired of hearing Mr. Potato Head Beholder, I did have this discussion with Russ before we went live saying we've talked about this, and he was like, no, this is new news. We need to report it.
This is a different Mr. Potato Head Beholder.
So
Tell
just
us
because it's got
about
a
it.
hat does not make it new. All right.
It's a new hat.
Well, this is the Origins Game Fair exclusive one.
Right.
So you can only get it at Origins Game Fair this year. You can get the regular one as well, but you can get this one as well.
Yeah.
It's got a different hat, and it's got a smiling face rather than a face, mouth.
Oh, is that what it's meant to be doing? Smiling?
That's supposed to be
teeth.
smiling, yes.
Right.
He's got
Yeah,
veneers, so it looks a bit unnatural, but you know,
Yeah.
got that turkey teeth glow.
For listeners at home, it's like supposed to be a wizard hat, I guess, but it looks more like if your dog got into the beetroot or something and had a very large purple something, but in plastic.
Wow.
I mean,
don't
look
think
at
a wizard hat.
That's a nice.
hat.
That is all Russ
Would you-
wanted when we played Baldur's Gate 3 as a hat like that.
A pointy hat.
I mean, a pointy hat for me would have a point to it, as
Maybe
opposed
it's
to.
cropped at the
should
back.
basically-
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it
Oh,
might be
maybe,
folded backwards,
It's just-
like
yeah.
Gandalf's hat is.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be more acceptable, but yeah.
I don't know
don't know if you
why
saw that.
I've gone hard on defending.
Oh, it is. I found a
Baldur,
different
but that's
picture.
the stance I've apparently
I found a
taken.
different picture. It is folded back and it points backwards. It's
Oh, okay.
folded-
Right,
yeah.
there you go. Criticism withdrawn. It is a pointy hat. It's just
It
got
is a pointy
just
hat,
gone floppy
yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Any- Any more news on that? Or should we move on?
Oh, that's the news. That's it. There's
Great.
a second. There's a
I shall have-
second. I don't know.
I'll contain my FOMO at the thought of not getting it.
All right. Well, if you're going to Origins, you too can pick up that pointy hat, Mr. Potato Head Beholder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're
In
not,
fact,
don't fear. There is a different variety that you can get.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't
Okay.
want a Mr. Potato Head Beholder.
I don't believe you because you talked about anyway.
I don't want
Well,
one.
that's your birthday present ruined now.
I don't want one. Anyway, no, we
Moving
should
on.
move on with the next bit of news.
Swiftly.
Yes,
Do you remember Kids on Bikes?
I do. A very popular system. There's loads of really good
It's
actual
genre,
players
it's
using
basically a
it.
genre these days, but it was
Yeah,
the name of a role-playing game.
yeah.
Yes.
There's a variant of it called
Ooh.
Kids on even Capes,
I see.
and it's a superhero version.
Oh, that's a nice collector's edition artwork. Looks very kind of like 1960s adventure books, Famous Five style artwork.
Yeah,
Uh,
it looks like early comic book stuff
Yeah.
from the 70s,
Yeah.
80s,
Yeah.
80s,
Also-
80s, I'd say 80s comic book cover.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're
Okay.
pretty more right.
It puts me in mind of 1960s advertisements for America, where they've got like it's a sort of a pencil drawn, and you've got generally you've got like a guy in a hat and a suit, that sort of thing, like looking or like a housewife is like whole in a little apron is pushing a Hoover around, that sort of drawing. So it's like that, but instead we've got a young lady, I suspect, wearing
Yeah.
shorts with hair, and she's got a sheet.
She's got a cape and
Okay.
she's sitting. Well, she's got a cape and she's sitting on a roof,
It's a
basically.
So I'm guessing this is a superhero themed one where you
Yes.
play young people with superpowers,
Well, aspirations to have superpowers, yes.
or at least yeah.
Well, you do have superpowers.
Oh, exciting.
This is a superpower game. It's
Okay.
it's still teens, it's still kids, young teens. But you have special powers that you select during the course of play, and basically it's kids on bikes with superheroes.
Same system, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
as far
cool.
as I know.
Oh, that's nice.
Coming out in November.
Again, I do like when you have a system and it does different genres because then it makes it so much easier to get players to the table because they're like, oh yeah, I get how this works, and it just makes it. So cool. I mean, that sounds really cool. Kids on Bikes is really good. I know loads of people enjoy it. There's great actual plays online about it. I'm sure we'll see the same with Kids and Capes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Kids and Bikes is such a big genre. It's like Stranger Things is coming back for another season.
Yeah.
I think they're all about 45 now, rather than
Yeah, they're all in their mid
you know?
they're all in their mid-20s, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to fault someone for aging, because you can't really
Yes.
currently.
How dare
there's not a
they?
way to
How
halt
dare
that.
they?
Yeah, how dare they become adults?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, actually, I imagine if you went back to Stranger Things season 1, I reckon it would be quite shocking to see how young they are.
Yeah,
has
I
been.
think
They were very
Yeah.
young.
Yeah. 'Cause how old were they? 11 or something.
Something like,
10.
yeah.
They were very, yeah.
Uh,
I can't remember. It was ages ago. And they've gone like 3 years between each season anyway, so
yeah.
yeah.
anyway.
It was 2016 that came out, Stranger Things.
Yeah. So 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And they filmed it a year at
Hmm.
least before that, so 10 years ago.
Yeah.
My
I mean,
goodness.
I remember that was actually a year I went to Dragon Con, the one in America, and I
Ooh.
saw that they had like a rewatch party for something called Stranger Things. I was like, oh, that seems interesting. I wonder what that is. And then popped on my Netflix. I was like, oh, this is quite good.
Well, you can watch more Stranger Things later this year.
Yeah.
Not that we are a Stranger Things news show, but still.
No. Yeah, what season is it on? Is it 4 or 5?
I can't remember. I don't know.
It must be 4 now.
Pass.
Yeah.
I pass also.
Yeah.
Right. The next bit of
Moving
news. Moving swiftly on.
Yes.
Let's have a look at this. Musketeers versus Cthulhu.
Oh, okay. Doesn't seem very fair on the Musketeers, but let's go.
All the Cardinal's Men by Claudia Christian is a series, I believe, a series of novels. And this is based on that series of novels. And you can, so you can play either a musketeer, or you can play one of the Cardinal's network of spies, and you get thrust into eldritch plots, courtly intrigues, and epic battles. But basically, we're talking Musketeers versus Cthulhu. Is
this the cover you've thrown up, or?
Yes. That's the cover art. Yes,
it's the cover art. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what we've got is probably in the background, but which very much draws the eye, is a king in an iron mask, which is the sort of thing that gets one's attention. And then off to the left is if you've seen like the Three Musketeers or like one of the Musketeers films, then you're familiar with that sort of wide-brimmed hat and tabard, and they're holding a flintlock pistol, it looks like.
Yes. No actual musket in sight, but yeah.
There is no musket. There are Musketeers' Sans musket, and indeed Sans sword, which is means they've got one shot, and then it's like down to, I don't know, passing the whipping pistol and harsh language.
I don't know. But yeah. So you got a king on a throne.
Yeah. But with a
cardinal standing next to him.
Yeah, behind the throne, being the power behind, very symbolic. And that looks very much like pictures of Cardinal Richelieu, older white guy with the long hair and that sort of classic curliness at the bottom of it. And we have someone that I'll take a punt at, probably is Milady, in that she has she looks like a beldam, a beautiful lady. She's got like a hat, white woman, thong, flowing dress which goes down to the floor, which is blue with a lot of ruffles are going on here.
You love the ruffles.
Also with a surprisingly large flintlock pistol. So yeah.
Yes. So that's the cover artwork. But we mentioned Claudia Christian as one of the writers, and somebody asked of Babylon 5 fame. Yes, one and the same is the American actress, singer, and author who was Commander Susan
Ivanova.
Yes, I was like, Susan from Babylon 5. She's also involved in lots of RPG stuff. So she's also featuring writing of this.
Doing the voice of Hera on the Netflix series Blood of Zeus as well.
Oh, and she's done many things, but
definitely the best thing in Babylon 5. I feel I can say it quite happily.
But yes, one and the same. Well noted, dear listener.
Yes, good job.
Yeah, this looks interesting. It's live now on Kickstarter. £12 for the PDF, 25 for the book.
Yeah.
That's in British pounds, so I don't know.
Cool. It's the second in the
conversion.
series. So when the first one was focused more on the Musketeers, this is the second one, and it focuses more on sort of the Cardinal's network of spies.
Ah, yes. And their goon squad.
You can get the original book as well. There's a bundle they have for that as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is all the Cardinal's men. What was the first one called? Do we know?
Musketeers versus Cthulhu.
Literally just Musketeers versus Cthulhu. Okay.
I mean,
yes,
that's a really good name. If we're still playing our favorite game in all the world, then I would.
That's what it says on the tin. Yeah.
I know what that is.
I'm excited for it. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I know what it is. I would like to buy this book, please. Click, click, click. Let's go. So,
there you go. It's live on Kickstarter right now. It's got 20 days to go. It's funded several times over already, and
Bing, bish, bosh, ding dong.
Yeah. Right then. So we're pretty much at the end now. We've got one item left, which is one of our own items.
Yes.
Yes. Are you ready to talk about pets and psychics?
Yes, pets and psychic. I think we previously talked about this a little bit, and at one point it was called the Companions Compendium. So they're the same thing. It's just been renamed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for this because I originally suggested it.
That's my favourite cover of all of our books so far.
Little baby dragon.
Yes.
And he's got a little neckerchief on because he belongs to somebody. He's been adopted by a party.
You can tell they're baby because they have huge eyes.
Yes, indeed. And his story is because there's a little story of adventurers and things pitted throughout the book that follows on for all the chapters that goes through the thing they do. So there's a little bit of a, like I mentioned, the captain whose name I've forgotten, but would still die for.
Captain Concierge.
No, not in Planes Ride. Concierge. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so there's that vibe to it. But yeah, I'm excited about this. We're taking it to crowdfunding soon.
Yes, the pre-launch page is up. We've got about 500 people, I think, now are following it along. We'd like a few more, please. Thank you very much. If you could go and have a look at that. So basically, Jess, do you want to just say what this is for those that haven't
so pretty much it's allowing you to have pets and also NPCs in your party, and they're kind of heroic companions that level up with you. So if you have the Monstrous Menagerie 2, that touched on heroic companions a bit. So this greatly expands that kind of rule set. You don't need the Monstrous Menagerie 2 to have this. It is standalone, but just but yeah, so like chapter 1 gives you different companions, how you use them, how you can recruit them, talking about the rules for how they gain levels with you. So it means that if you adopt an animal, you're not going to, as you level up, not be able to take it with you for fear it's going to implode. There's loads of character options as well. You get different backgrounds. So if you want your player to not be a class that's that uses animals like a ranger, but you want them to have like a personal relationship with animals for some reason, there's like beast friend, or you can have feats like bonded companion or expert rider. So if you want, as part of your background and history, to have animals be part of that with you, there's loads of options on that. There's obviously loads of pet options, and there's things you can teach them tricks, and it's usually things a lot outside of combat. So it's things like they can track or guard or things like that. There's those equipment and magic items, and then there's those companions. So there can be like an NPC that you meet at a certain level and it levels up with you.
Yeah. I mean, the way a companion is presented in this, whether it's a monster, an animal, or a NPC, because it could be a flump, it could be a knight, it could be a large beetle, it could be whatever. So you get your stat block. So we've got lots of stat blocks for each different companion type, just like in a monster book. But the stat block has a section where at each level the companion gets a little upgrade, at each level. So it will sort of have the stat block of the companion and normal, then it'll go at level 1, then at level 3, and at level 5, and things like that. And they gain levels automatically as you do, but I think at half the rate you do, so it will be half your level. I think I can't remember, something like that.
It's written by Paul Hughes, so it's very well balanced. Who did our Monstrous Menagerie book, so it's very cohesive with that.
Yeah. It does look very, 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 very cool. I can't wait.
Do you have any favourites from the various creatures that have come out so far? Is there a dog? Basically, is what I'm asking.
Of course, there's a dog. And I've already...
Do you have any favourites apart from the dog? How about that?
Well, I've also noticed, because a lot of these companions, they also have sample names for each of the different companions. So you can very quickly, if you've got one, there's a list of like 6 or 7 sample names, you can just grab one. And it suddenly occurred to me, wait a minute, the sample names for the dogs, they're wrong.
Why were they not the publishing names?
They should be our dogs. They should be Hudson and Marvin and Django and...
Yeah.
So I think we're going to put those in. They have to be. They have to be.
Absolutely.
So you got basically 3 different groups. You got animal companions. So you've got bears, dogs, beetles, lizards, raptors, sharks, spiders, that sort of thing. If you, want a companion spider, I suppose someone might. Or a companion shark. I'm not sure how useful that would be, but Yeah. Then we've got monstrous.
Priscilla. She was great.
Okay. Monstrous companions.
So that's
Flumps, pseudo dragons, spirits, owlbears, skeletons, all sorts of dragon wormlings, all sorts
of
things.
If you loved having a baby owlbear in Baldur's Gate 3, you too can have this in your games.
Yeah. And then we've got allies, which might be adepts or wizards or goblin rogues or kobold sorcerers and stuff like that. And of course, all of these can be allies or foes. So not only are these like allies that level up with you, you can have like a nemesis that levels up with you as well. So say at first level you like attack a goblin camp and one of them gets away, then you meet that goblin again when you're 4th level, and the goblin's leveled up, and then you meet the goblin again at 9th level, and the goblin's leveled up again. So you can have a recurring foe as a nemesis. Yeah,
I mean, in terms of favourites, one piece of artwork I really like is, I'm going to get up on screen now, it is the puffball. I'm just going to load it up because it's just incredibly cute. It's got an issue with, let me see if I can share my screen and show you. Here it is. Look at that. Look at the little puffball. And the puffball is a perfect description of what that is.
It's like a regular close cut mushroom, but it's like just really, really fluffy looking.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's an adventurer there who is enamored with it as much as I am as well.
The power of spores to the brain.
Indeed. Love me. But yes, unfortunately, the book does not feature whale dragons currently, but...
No, because whale dragons do not exist.
And puffballs do.
Yes, puffballs do exist because they're in the book.
Okay. But yeah, there's some really great artwork in this. I think it looks really beautiful. Francita's done a really good job working with all the artists. A really cohesive visual art style for this. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. But yeah.
But the coming soon page is up, so please head on over and follow that now. There'll be a link in the show notes, so you can go do that really easily.
Yep, absolutely.
I think we're done.
I think that's all for this week. We shall return next week.
Yeah. We're getting thunderstorms later, apparently.
How exciting! Yes.
Nothing like a good thunderstorm. As long as you're all warm and cozy inside, I quite like a thunderstorm outside.
Being outside would suck.
Yes.
Very
but
much so.
I plan to stay indoors myself.
Me too. Me also.
All right.
Right. There's a shocker. Okay.
Yeah. Right, on that note, shall we get out of here?
All right.
Done. All right then. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back next week. All right then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG. Doggy.